As it has just been told, I'm a journalist. I'm here to talk about paper, nothing to see with blockchain. And I barely speak English, so I don't know what the hell I'm doing here, but there is several reasons. First of all, I'm not Belgian, but my company, 20 Minutes, is partly owned by a Belgian company, Rossel. So I'm here to say thank you in front of their fellow citizens. Nothing would have been possible without you. Secondly, I'm a huge fan of collaboration. Clearly not a thing to say during the World War II, but now it's okay. And I guess it's a very powerful word for journalists, collaboration. And the third thing is that I think that Web3 will change the world. Maybe you're also certain of this, but it's not the case in France, and a lot of people do not mind the Web3 in France, and there was a little talk about Web3. So we wanted to change the situation, and we wanted to create a newspaper. 20 Minutes is a free newspaper. It's the biggest one in France. Nothing to brag about, it's the only one. But it's also a news website, the 5th most consulted in France, so quite a big one. But we decided to print a newspaper about Web3, entirely dedicated to blockchain, crypto, metaverse, because we thought that paper was a powerful mean to talk to people who don't care about Web3. Because, you know, on the web, we published a lot of articles about cryptos or NFTs, and the people who read it are people who made some search about it on Google's or get them through the bubble filter of the social network. So if we want to talk to everybody, regular people in the street, we had to publish a printed newspaper. And that's what we did. It's called 20 Minutes. And, oh. That was so easy, the green button, sorry for that. We printed a newspaper entirely dedicated to the Web3. But it cost a lot. Newspaper and paper is very expensive right now, so we had to find money. And we had another problem. We had only 100 journalists who are working with me every day, and none of them is a blockchain expert. So we needed also to find people to help us. And we tried to kill the two birds with only one stone. This stone was NFT, typewriters NFT, as you can see on the screen. These were NFTs of typewriters, unique one. Created by generative art. It was created in April. It was a few times before the crash of Luna. But the NFT craze was already dying out, so we didn't know if we will succeed to sell them. We dropped 1,000 NFTs and we sold them in 15 hours, less than 15 hours. So we were quite happy with this. We got money thanks to that. We also got help thanks to that, because what the customers bought when they bought these NFTs, it was not only generative art, it was a kind of membership card. Actually, they bought the right to work for free for us, and it was a very good point for us. They bought an access to a Discord channel, private Discord channel, and they were in this space allowed to work with us to create the newspaper. Actually, it was not a smooth road we had to take to go there, because it's quite difficult for a Web2 company to go to Web3 and to give power to the community. We had to experiment a lot of things. As I showed you, we launched a Twitch show, we created this Discord. I had to talk with my accountant and to convince him to have a crypto ledger, so it was a real nightmare. I had to explain to my CEO what's DAO and why it could be useful for us. I had to convince my fellow journalists that you could put some of our articles in a token-gated section only for people who've got the NFTs. We only dropped 1,000 NFTs, so you write articles only for those guys. Is it very useful? Well, we had very interesting talks with them like this. But we also have to listen a lot to our community, and that was the best part of the project. Because on that Discord, they were very, very active with us. They chose the people we had to interview. They chose the articles, the subjects of the articles we have to write. They even write with us some of the parts of the newspaper. They wrote some definitions, a glossary about the most difficult Web3 words. There is a lot. They help us to explain a lot of things, like, about it. It was very interesting, the part with the monopoly. Ourselves, we do some things with the Lego to explain how blockchain works. And all those were their ideas, because they had a lot of great ideas, and they helped us improve the newspaper. So they were not only financial support, they were also real journalists, things like that, and they helped us to create this newspaper, which was distributed on June, and we distributed for free 800,000 copies of the newspaper. It was a huge success. We even got a prize for this in France, and we have a lot of media coverage. So my company decided to transform this special issue into a magazine, and we had to work on other issues. So the one I have in my hand is the second one. It was distributed on Tuesday, and it was created by the same people than the first one, the one who got the NFTs and who helped us contact, for instance, this artist, which is a quite famous street artist in France, and to create a lot of the contents we held in this number 2. So it was a very interesting experience for us, but we decided to go even further and to implement other parts of the Web3 world. I told you about the DAO. Every time they had to vote about the subject we will host in our newspaper, they made it on snapshot.org, which is a regular DAO SaaS. Maybe you know it better than me, but it's quite useful. They also wanted it to be translated into English. Of course, I'm not the guy who translated it, thanks to the readers, but we found someone in the community who was able to translate it, and we paid him with crypto. It was, for us, it was Space Mountain, a very interesting process. But for them, it was quite normal, because the guy we recruited dropping the NFTs are more savvy than us about Web3. And maybe it's the best advice I could give to the beginners in the room. If you want to start a project, of course, go and meet the guys from Settlemint and from Fujitsu, but also try to locate or to find in your community people who are eager to help and who knows a lot about Web3, because there are a lot of passionate people around these subjects, and you can leverage them and have their help to create great things. The most funny things we did together with this community was maybe creating a party on Decentraland, this metaverse. Why did we do that? Because some of the token holders wanted us to translate the newspaper into English, because they thought that the company we were talking about in the newspaper would be happy to have an English version of the magazine. So they pushed us to translate the magazine. We found this guy, we had this English version, but we had nowhere to distribute the magazine, because, of course, we are a French newspaper distributed in the French cities. And one guy from the community told us, hey, I got some lands on Decentraland. Maybe we could recreate a subway station. That's where we're distributed. And we could put your rack and all the stuff with the logo 20mint on the subway station. So as people could get a PDF version of the English magazine every time they go to Decentraland. We implemented that, and to celebrate it, we tried to launch a party. We found in our community one guy who knows another, and we finally found a DJ who is very famous in the metaverse, not at all in the real world, and he gathered 1,000 people on one day in this desert, which is Decentraland, lovely desert, but still a desert place. We gathered 1,000 people to have a party, all dressed in wearables. It's funny, maybe you can think it's dumb, but I assure you it's the best party I had with my readers for years, because they were very, very, well, they were happy to be able to interact with the journalists in a very simple way, and Avatar is a good way to bridge the gap between journalists and the readers. So maybe we'll see there, and I was quite happy to present this initiative. If you want more details about it, I'm always available on LinkedIn, or maybe also at the coffee break. See you soon.